this is what I want to do. I felt it. It was a moment cemented in my memory and in my soul that I knew I wanted to be a racer full time.
Unleashed with the Dingo and Danny, fueled by Monster Energy.
You ready for this one?
Crack the can, dude. Ching.
Cheers, bro.
Cheers.
Cheers.
We got Kurt Busch
In
at
the
the
booth.
HQ, Daytona 500 champion.
Label out.
What do you support? What are you supporting right there? What flavor you got?
I wanted to go orange. It's Ultra Sunrise. I should know
Dang.
the name of it.
Dang.
But yeah, bro. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, dude. It's like I dusted the suit off for you.
I mean, I should have brought mine, but no, you look good in it.
It's
And
fine. I don't want you to have to not. If you're not working, you shouldn't. If it's not a work day for you, you shouldn't have to put on the.
I'll let you be the lead representative today
I'll be the lead representative
because today's
today.
not a Sunday.
Yeah, what is
I'll
that
handle
called?
Sunday.
Is that like the suit? What do you call it when you put it on?
Driver suit, yeah.
Driver
It's full
suit.
on driver suit with no mechs. Look, even on the wrist. Flip over the wrist. Nope. Keep rotate it. No. There. Nope. Right there. See that
Right.
logo? He's on the other side.
Keep it go. There it is. I see it.
He
It's
can't
white.
see it. See, we've totally got Dingo screwed up. That.
Whoa!
Right
I never
there.
knew
What's
that
it
was
say,
there.
Dingo?
Yeah.
What is that?
That now you have flame protection for 30 seconds with that logo on it.
Yeah.
That's
Just
a
in
real-
that
I get pretty
logo,
hot.
or
No, it's real. It's a real suit's what I'm getting at. It's the no mechs.
I get pretty hot sometimes.
Yeah.
that's how you know the real core fans and not. They got
You're
that
legit.
that patch.
He's legit with that suit on. The driver suit.
Dude, so the first time I met you was the first time you'd, I think, worked with Monster a little bit, but it was the first year, 2017, Monster Energy became the title sponsor of NASCAR, and you were our driver. It was being made that you were the Monster car driver. Everybody was out there. Rodney, Hilton, Mitch Covington, Carey. Shout out to Carey. And you, I like to say we as Monster Energy, but you won the Daytona 500 the first time I went to my first ever NASCAR race.
It was a wee thing, but yeah, no. The NASCAR program had been growing and growing. I first met Monster Energy in 2012, racing with my little brother Kyle, and Monster jumped on board to have Kyle for half the races, and I raced the other half, and that was in the series just below Cup, in what was then a nationwide series, so the Xfinity cars. And things just kept growing from there, and my relationship with Monster took on a whole new level when they jumped in on the car in 2015, 2016, and then NASCAR. They took over the whole series sponsorship in 2017. So imagine that pressure. Imagine that all the CEO, everybody's there for the Daytona 500. And Mitch is awesome, right? The motorsports director then, and now he's director of all sponsor engagements. And he goes, hey, we got to get this, we got to get that done. He goes, how many Monster girls do you think we should bring? And I'm like, 40. There's 40 cars. Every car needs a Monster girl now. And so the victory lane celebration, wasn't that bonkers?
Man,
Wasn't it out of control?
Just to actually picture and explain it, the Daytona 500 has a wall of 200,000 people. A wall. Like, you're looking at 200,000 people. I've been to arenas where there's 100,000 people in an oval shape, but there's a wall of 200,000 people, and then all the people on the infield. You got people living and camping on the infield. You've got this event that goes for like 3-4 days prior to the race, leading up to the race. And I've been to some pretty big sporting events before, but I'd never been to something as big as the Daytona 500. And that welcome to NASCAR, was it. You can't have more of a Cinderella story on what happened there. And it was, and for me too, it was like, it's so crazy how, like, back then you're able to be a part of it. You're above the pit, the sponsorships within NASCAR, everybody gets so engaged. They're around the drivers, around their team, around everybody's in there and engaged in it. And that was probably one of the most memorable experiences I'll ever have in my life, was you winning the Daytona. I'll never forget when it was, we're coming to the end there, your car was beat up. Remember how beat up that car was?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, at Daytona, there's just a small like slang rule of just don't run into anything too hard. Like if you have a little bit of scratch here or some damage over there, so be it. But if you hit the wall and you hit it too hard, your day's done. We scraped the wall on one of the wrecks, and we were able to fix our damage and reset in the back of the pack and then work our way up. And the race unfolded perfect for us because it turned into a 50-lap run at the end, and you can only do 48 laps on a tank of gas. So I was coached from the team right on that final start to save fuel and to let everybody kind of go up there and lead, and they would burn up their gas. You know, I'm like, oh yeah, sure kids, go ahead, knock yourselves out. And they kept passing, we just kept riding, just sitting there, just riding in third, and just put our plan together, saved enough fuel, and my move was gonna be on the last lap of the race. And my move was to drag the brake, coming to take the white flag and let that leader get up ahead, and then make my one move where I almost like Days of Thunder, where you fake high, go low, and then go back up high. And that was my move. I pulled it off and was able to make the pass on the last lap.
Did you finish the race with no gas?
Barely made it through. We had just enough to do some victory burnouts in the grass, and then the car fizzled out on its way to victory lane. They had to push me to get to that last little bit to victory lane.
Man, I'll never forget, because I'm on the radio listening to your spotter, and then you could hear it when they were coming in cleaning your car. I remember the last time you came in and they were cleaning the car, they were like taping the thing. The thing's hold on by duct tape. I don't know what you're using at that point, but you can hear one of the guys, clean the Monster Energy logo, clean the Monster Energy logo.
No way, did they?
I swear to God.
That's great.
So as they're trying to fix your car and hold this thing together, they're like, oh, there goes my phone. That's all good. I don't need that thing. They're like, clean the Monster Energy logo. And I was like, oh, this is the place we need to be. And then that was wild. Like that Gronk was there. He had just he didn't play in the Super Bowl, but they just won that year. And a funny story, I'm sitting on the top with it's Mark Hall, myself. Mark Hall is the legendary, obviously, creator of the flavors and the mad scientist behind Monster Energy, and you know the guts of what comes out of the company. And he had just created a Gronk flavor that he was like working on. He's like, I gotta fix your flavor, son. And then looks at Gronk as you're on top of the car. Confetti's coming down. There's 40 Monster Energy girls, and the entire team was there. Your team was there at the time, and our entire company. And he looks at Gronk and he goes, "I never missed a college football game in my life, you pussy." And I was like, I looked at Gronk. I literally had a beer in my pocket. I like swiping my beer. He's like, I'm like, "Welcome to Monster Energy, dude."
You gotta love that. I mean, that's what makes this place so much fun. And it makes it so real.
Yeah.
Is the engagement level of every top executive director.
Yep.
Every passionate Monster girl, every athlete that wears our logo, right?
Yep.
They're the best of the best. And everybody gives it in all areas. And that's what makes this group so much fun.
It's true. And I think Danny's first NASCAR experience was the Daytona 500, was maybe 2 years later, or maybe a year later, or maybe 2 years later, actually, 2017, 2018, where he came down and had the first full experience. And was that your first NASCAR race?
Yeah, that was my first NASCAR race. I've done like the drag race, drag car, but that was the first one of like really seeing it and like seeing the stands full. We got to go into the circle, which was pretty cool in the beginning, but it was like, it's just so rad to see how close they are. And then what really blew my mind was like the last like 40 minutes of the race, where it's like all of a sudden it like turns on, it's dark, you're seeing like them starting the race, and then it's like getting shut down, right? Because everyone's just like going for it and taking laps. And it was like, it blew my mind how like insanely crazy the last like 30-40 minutes of that race were. It was like, holy crap.
Yeah, the timing that NASCAR sorted out is the daytime start. Mm-hmm. And then for the final sector of the race, the final stage usually ends up after sunset. So like you're saying, you just feel the energy pick up. The lights come on the racetrack, the sun goes down, and it's just that last bit of who's going to win it. And if you were there in 2018, on the last lap, I was running second.
We thought you were going to win again.
I know. I was.
Dude, I'm like living there holding, like, squeezing mitts, like, holy fuck, he's about to do it again.
Yep, turn one, last lap, I got crossed up with a guy, Ryan Blaney, and we wrecked out. And I was that close to getting it back to back. I mean,
man, how much of NASCAR is just survival? It's all survival, right? It's like, I feel like it's not about getting out there being the fastest guy straight away. It's about being the guy that gets across the line first, which is a different strategy. Yeah
there's different tracks. For us, there's the super speedways like Daytona and Talladega, where it is all survival. And then you get into the different style tracks, like short tracks, road courses, and then the intermediate tracks. All those, you got to have raw speed, you got to have team execution with the pit stops. The race strategist has to make the right calls on when to pit. And then short tracks, to me, the driver makes a big difference. Similar to road courses, like in Formula One, and MotoGP, you got to have that driver that can make a difference for the team. And that's where the driver stands up more versus a Daytona, Talladega with the luck of the draw or just being in the right place at the right time towards the end.
You know what blew my mind about NASCAR? Because we all know I'm a bit of a partier, I'm a bit of a socialite.
No, go on, tell me.
I'm not a socialist. Depends. But I was super in love with the environment. Like spending like most of my time action sports, snowboard, LA guy. Like I'd never spent much time. I've been to some races, but like F1, MotoGP, but like never NASCAR. And when the opportunity came, like it's just crazy. It's a festival. It's like the environment that goes into it, the amount of people that come to these things, the camp out stuff, which is very Australian to me. But I love the atmosphere of the infield of camping and being there for days. You guys camping on the infield, being there with all your fans, and like there's no other sport that actually has that. And it blew my mind of how much fun it actually is.
It's endless, the amount of ways you can go to a NASCAR race. You just show up, get a grandstand ticket, right? There can be the VIP passes where you get into the suites, or you go to a driver autograph session, or a hospitality area. You can, like you said, party for 3 days straight in the infield. And all the tracks around the country have different vibes. So racing here in SoCal, everybody's got their bikes, and they're all just riding their bikes through the infield, partying all night long. You go up to the Poconos, where you have all the huge infield. I mean, it's as far as the eye can see is campers in that area. You go to Talladega, there's Talladega Boulevard, and that's where it's basically Mardi Gras meets NASCAR. And it's everybody going bonkers, Mardi Gras style for that race. So everywhere you go, there's different tracks with different style racing, different people. There's different ways to absorb the races. And that's why it's so much fun to be a racer and drive in NASCAR, because we go to some cool places and there's different things going on all the time.
What's your opinion on the movie Talladega Nights?
Love it. I love it. It's self-deprecating humor,
right?
Of making fun of ourselves, right? When they sit down at the dinner table scene and Ricky Bobby's got to thank all the sponsors, right? I mean, it's part of the gig. It's part of how we roll. It's great.
I feel like sometimes you'll cover your windshield with the Monster Energy logo, and you're like, God damn, love my Monster Energy, but I'm 4 wide right now.
I think this might be dangerous, but I sure do love my Monster Energy. Yeah. No, that movie's incredible with what it did for our sport with Will Ferrell.
Man, I remember. So like when that movie came out, I actually happened to be at the MTV Awards that year. I think it was 2007.
Yeah.
And these two showed up, John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell show up in a full race kit.
Just like
they
yours.
shot just like me, and then they get up in the middle of the award show and they start talking shit and doing all this thing. And I was like, these two have a movie coming out that's going to be... And that was the first marketing promo they did for Talladega Nights. And that was at the peak of like Will Ferrell like on his game.
Yes.
And I was like, this is going to be... And then to have Sacha Baron Cohen as the F1 kind of style guy that came in, the gay French guy. It was just perfect. The whole movie, the way that thing came about was a light to it. So I've always actually wanted to ask what your guys' opinion
At first,
on that
I was a little weirded out, right? I was in my late 20s, and I'm like, man, this isn't what we need to be doing, right? We don't need to have this goofball sequence of comedy. What we do is serious, like what we do is important. What we do is structured. And then as time has gone by, I'm like, oh, that was genius on the whole thing to promote ourselves, promote the sport to a different demographic and to be seen by millions of new eyeballs.
Yeah, because I feel like the two movies is Days of Thunder, which was, I think, serious. Was it not? Was that done seriously?
Very serious.
Yeah, no, it had a great script with the crew chief building the car and pulling this driver out of the open wheel ranks and coaching him on how to be a NASCAR guy. Yeah, no.
Nicole Kidman at her finest.
Yeah, that's when Nicole and Tom Cruise met.
Yeah, boom.
It happened Days of Thunder. Yeah.
And then that. So anyway, I've always wanted to ask that, dude. Like, how have you guys been coping? Obviously, pandemic happened. You guys are so used to having fans and infield and sponsor activations and all these things. Did NASCAR actually stop last year? Like, everything stopped for a minute, right?
Yeah, we were down for about 2 months.
Yep.
And as we were going through the process with different states and local governments, we had to go to tracks that would accept just the small protocol of the footprint of what it takes to produce a race. And what I mean by that is camera crews, like for Fox and for NBC, they were limited down to a third of their people. Our teams, we used to bring 20 to 25 men and women for each race team. We were down to less than 10 per team. And so it's just restricting the people that would come into the environment of the racetrack, right? And then no race fans on the outside.
Did they miss me?
Oh, Dingo! I mean, you didn't make the approved list. I don't know why.
I'm pretty bummed.
He was still camping in Daytona.
Team
in the center
mascot
field.
should be approved, man. No,
Dude,
it was bonkers starting
it was,
out.
huh?
It was like the pre-race. There's no fans. There's no energy. There's no people. There was no practice sessions or anything leading into it. It was literally the drivers carried their helmets to the car, and we're all like, "This is a ghost town." That's when you realize how important our fans are, and the nucleus of producing the show, of producing the event, starts when that first camper rolls in and they're setting up their tailgate. It's all about the people. It's all about the fans in NASCAR. So, and just after the race, like Kevin Harvick won our first race back, and it's like a ghost town.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm just going to walk back to my car and drive back home.
Yeah.
It was crazy because we were only racing within driving distance of the Charlotte, North Carolina hub for all the race teams.
Yeah, so you guys stayed in a little zone, right? You guys didn't...
Yeah, we just kind of went over here for one day and went back.
Yeah.
Over here for one day and went back. But NASCAR did an incredible job of working with all the states and the governments to get these approvals and to go through the different temperature checks, the different surveys, and to keep everybody isolated.
Yeah. Now, once you're in the car driving, is there much, like the crowd not being there, are you completely then zoned out of that? The actual racing itself, has that changed much at all?
The biggest thing you miss in night races is the flash bulbs going off from all the race fans. Mm-hmm. Everybody's iPhones, camera phones, with the light coming on to take a picture. You felt that, you missed that. And just the post-race. Again, pre-race, post-race. But during the race itself, you just miss the flashbulbs from the fans on the night races. Day races, really can't tell because all the grandstands kind of blend in.
Yep. So let's take it back. You're originally from Vegas. Your dad, Tom, was a car enthusiast, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we had race cars and street rods in the garage, man, all the time.
Yeah, so you grew up with a father like that. How did you get into racing?
My dad raced, and as early as I can remember, I was going to the track.
Go-karting.
Just going with him to watch.
Watch races.
Yep. Mom actually thought go-kart racing was dangerous. So
I agree with Mom.
What do you mean? You're an Aussie. There's nothing dangerous to Aussies.
No, that's true. But I just feel like I could be completely wrong. But every time I'm in a go-kart, I feel like I could die.
Nah.
No?
Well, I mean, just your driving skills might be less than others.
Well, that's a fact.
So my dad was a racer, and I grew up going to the track with him. Mom kept pushing me in Little League baseball. Here's your glove. Here's your bat. Go play baseball. But racing, it was so easy to be there with it with my dad. And when I was 15 years old, I kid you not, he sent me on a road trip to go pick up a racing chassis, a new car, but it had to be built. He had to finish it off, right? And when I got it back, he's like, hey, there's your car. What? He goes, yeah, if you build it, you can race it. And so now we had two.
But you had to build the car?
Had to build it with him. It was
How old were you?
I was 15.
Dang.
So it was a process to build it with my dad, but it taught me the time and the effort and the involvement. And it gave you that sense of pride building it. And then I raced it with him. I raced against my dad when I first started out.
Was your dad competitive like your brother?
Oh, dad was better than both of us.
Really?
Yeah.
I can see that, actually.
Dad was baller, man. He went to the track to win. He didn't go there to make friends. One year he won 15 out of the 16 races for the track championship in Vegas. Like he was the deal, man.
Yep.
And I was able to beat my dad in my second race ever. Right?
How did he take that?
He was like, and mom's like, and I'm like, we're all just like, what just happened? Right? I mean, I had watched him. I had watched the big NASCAR races on Sunday. You know, I had been doing the camcorder thing, recording my dad, and we watched
Old school cam?
Yeah, old school.
I love the
Not
old
even
school
the
cam,
hand
right?
one, like the big old one that goes on your
Danny's
shoulder.
dad used to roll like that.
Mm-hmm.
Danny's dad didn't used to miss a beat in the early snowboard days.
Yep, grab all that footage, right? And
Yeah, you
learn
got
from it.
to, you know.
Yeah, that's how it started out, and just did it with dad. Didn't set out to do it as a career path. It was just family fun.
So how did it turn into a job? Like, where was that transition?
I think when I was flunking out of college.
So you graduated high school?
Yeah, graduated high school. Got a diploma. Had good grades. I had to have good grades to be able to race.
Yep.
And then in the desert Southwest, you know, Vegas is building up as far as a racing hub. But
It was back then?
It was building up, late 90s.
That track's still a pretty famous track, right?
Yeah.
The first time I went to that track, I flew in there in a helicopter to go to a rave.
Yeah, to go to
EDC.
EDC, yeah.
I was like, there's monster logos on the wall. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, no, the track does a good job promoting, right? And I went down to school in Tucson. I went to University of Arizona.
What were you studying?
I thought I was looking for pharmaceuticals. That's no joke, right? But there was a track down there that was a springboard for racers.
So you like weren't like a go-kart champion, like kid that was just putting a go-kart and...
No.
See, I didn't know that. Like,
Yeah,
I
that's the
thought
big
everyone
thing.
was.
No, I didn't start till I was 15, right?
Gee.
And about 3 years later, I'm racing for this guy, racing for that guy, and I'm flunking out of college. And this guy out of Vegas, he owned a small nursery chain called Star Nursery in Las Vegas. He says, "Hey, come and race my late model." I'm like, "All right, I'll be right there." So I packed my stuff up from Tucson. I drove back home for a weekend, and I won that night in that dude's car. And I'm like, this is what I want to do. I felt it. It was a moment cemented in my memory and in my soul that I knew I wanted to be a racer full time. So I was racing for any race team I could find. I moved back home. I was working 3 different jobs, trying to rat hole some money to figure out which race team I could, get a ride with
What were your
next.
jobs?
I was a plumber. I worked at a grocery store. I worked for this one dude's race team just as a volunteer as a mechanic.
So that wasn't a job. You volunteered.
Yeah, but it took up time. But
Yeah.
I was a mechanic, a plumber, and a bagger, a grocery
Sick.
bagger at a grocery store.
That's good. That's some good skill sets.
Oh, dude, and there's my little brother who was a pain in my butt. My little brother Kyle.
He's still a pain in your butt, right?
He still is, and he was trying to be a racer too. So
And he didn't do the go-kart thing either.
Mom thought again that racing was dangerous, but with me turning out okay and things were going all right.
Were you okay? Were you a good
am
kid
I
or a
okay?
bad kid?
I had to be a good kid. It
You
was just
were?
easier to be a good kid
Yeah.
because I could go racing if I was.
Okay.
Little brother was not, and he got away with a ton of crap.
Little brothers always do.
I know, right? So at age 12, though, he was on the gas, racing pretty hard.
Yeah.
So we're 7 years apart. I land my first pro deal at age 21, And here he is 14 and he's just,
Yeah.
on the gas going hard. So yeah, it just turned out where I got lucky with winning that race, working hard, putting the time in, volunteering, just being in front of as many people in the racing world as I could.
You know what? Like volunteering, like for me, even like back in the day when I started picking up a microphone, most of the work I was doing, I wasn't getting paid, but I knew down the road it would lead to bigger things. So it's like knowing that like if it's something you want to do, volunteering or not getting paid for it, it don't mean it's like going to school. It's like getting credits. It's like, it's if that's what like if volunteering to be be a bag person at the grocery line, that's like probably if that's what you want to do in life, do that. But like if you're going to be bagging stuff, you want to get paid for it. Don't be the voluntary grocery bag person.
I needed a little bit of cash, right? Just to get to the next race. 100%, I needed gas money.
But it's like that's something that you'll probably remember for the rest of your life, and then it helped pave the way for you to go to that next step.
Oh, dude, when I was doing it, it was rough.
I bet.
But now looking back on it, you get to meet all these people. Like, does this lady want plastic? Does this lady want paper? This guy wants this done specifically. Like, you learn people. Looking back on it, it helped me just be able to roll with it more so.
So you're 21. We're kind of getting out of college, or not. Did you graduate college?
No, I flunked out.
So you're out, and then you've got your first car deal. What's the first car deal look like? Like, because it's not glamorous, right?
The first racing?
Yeah, first race deal you got.
I got picked up by a big team.
Off the bat.
Right off the bat. I got picked up by Roush Racing, and the team was in the truck series. So you have Cup,
Yep.
you got the Xfinity Support Series, and then trucks. And the team was based in Michigan. So I moved my stuff in a moving van from Vegas to Detroit. And I went there January 1. I got pneumonia. It was really cold up in Detroit.
Oh yeah, you're Vegas blooded.
Yeah.
In Tucson, living in Tucson, you weren't ready for Detroit.
It was brutal. It was
freezing.
Brutal. But went racing. And my first race in the trucks was Daytona. And I finished second.
No way.
Again, like, it just stuff clicked. And a lot of it was luck. A lot of it was just that racer sixth sense of just doing it.
Yep.
Right? And then as you wreck or you have a bad race or you win again, you try to learn and connect all these dots. And my first year in trucks, I was rookie of the year. I won 4 races, 4 poles, and finished second overall.
What other drivers are around you at this time?
Like Greg Biffle.
Yep.
He was the champion that year and
Yep.
my teammate.
Yep.
Guys like Jack Sprague, Mike Skinner, Andy Houston. There's a ton of names that were in the racing series. Mike Wallace. And when you hear Houston, well, his dad raced in the big time. When you hear of Wallace, his brother raced in the big time. So these are names that made it to the Cup level, or these are brothers or siblings, of the big racing names. Adam Petty, who passed away, he was racing there. And so you had the big names there, but it's the support series where you got to work your way up. It's kind of like 250 Supercross.
Yep.
You got to do 250 before you get to 450.
Yep.
So all the names were there.
And then how did we get into NASCAR?
Jack Roush, I was racing for him in the trucks, and he wanted me to go to Cup. So I went straight from truck series to Cup. And that happened in 6 months.
And then
Wow,
when were you
that's
Cup
fast.
Series champion?
4 years later.
4 years later. What were those 4 years like?
So again, man, just starting out as a 15-year-old racer, and 10 years later, I'm hoisting up the Nextel Cup. I'm hoisting up the Cup Championship trophy in NASCAR.
That's incredible.
10 years was the timeline.
That's a lot of laps, though.
It was bonkers. Like, just the truck series, going to all these places for the first time. I was a Cup rookie the next year. My rookie year was a struggle. Didn't do very well. We were like 28th in points or something. My rookie year, it was rough.
Yeah, it seems like it's a schlep, and like when you realize, correct me if I'm wrong here, a regular season for you guys is 36 races.
Yeah.
That's
Every week, man. Every week. And back then you could go and practice during the week at a track. And so just cranking out all these laps. And
You can't practice right now?
Just over time, NASCAR's changed the rules where you just practice week of at the race. And then now with COVID and protocols, like we're going in cold turkey and just racing on Sunday. It actually hurts all the rookies nowadays where they don't get actual track time.
Yep.
They're forced to get their track time through simulators.
Yep.
But no, it was a bonkers sequence of events, man. And in my second year on the tour, things clicked. My third year, I thought I was the man. And I either like won, finished second, or a podium, or wrecked.
Yeah, but that's how you want to be.
It was brutal. Yeah, it was just.
People like those.
Yeah, the roller coaster.
Like that. Like either he's gonna win, or he's gonna put the car on the fucking wall.
That was my third year. Yep. And then my fourth year, I put the blinders on and said, I got this. I'm not going to be bothered by outside noise. I'm going to take care of my duties at the track, and I'm going to go work out during the week and focus on me and stay away from all the extra busyness. It'd be almost like taking yourself off of social media in this day and age.
Yep. Of
just send out one pic or send out one post and just not get involved with things. And I was able to bring home the championship, and then that spurred up another contract with another team. That spurred up another set of race wins. Didn't quite win a championship with the second team I was with, and then it just spurred up other things to keep digging in this deal, man. I love it.
How like, because you've been racing a long time. This is your 21st season. Call
me crazy, man.
Nah,
I love it.
No, it's awesome. You're doing what you love.
I got in at a young age, and I've been blessed with great teams, great people, and in all honesty, I've been in some wrecks and I've never heard anything. Knock on wood, Stayed safe over the years, and my wife Ashley, I met her 5 years ago. We've been married, and she loves it. She loves going out on tour and going.
She's
to different places.
Your wife is actually really cool. You had Steven Tyler play at your wedding.
Yeah, we had a good little wedding bash. Steven Tyler from Aerosmith rolls in. It turned out all right.
Wedding bash.
It was epic. Actually,
how did that come about?
Different friends from Monster Energy lined me up with Steven Tyler's agent. Mm-hmm. The agent was friends with Britney Spears' dad.
Papa Spears.
Yeah, and so he's hanging out at some NASCAR races.
Yeah, man, Papa Spears used to roll in with, I shit you not, an $80,000 grill, which is a trailer, and he'd sit there and cook. He'd cook all weekend. He'd cook southern freaking fish, whatever. What's he cook? Like the southern...
The gumbo and all the bouillon sausage. He's straight up Louisiana. And the food.
Homemade moonshine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The food and the moonshine there.
It is great.
It was awesome. So he helped line up the contact to get to Larry, the main guy that runs Steven Tyler. And I asked about a date in January. And he's like, yeah, he vacations down there in January. I'm like, done. He goes... Yeah, done. Send us a check. I'm like, cool. How much? And he said the number, and I'm like, here's a check.
Did you write the set list on the back of that check? Were you like, all right, I want this song, this song, this song, this song?
It was epic, man. Like, I only thought it was going to be 5 songs because that's what everybody kind of agreed upon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we got to pick 2, right? And Ashley picked both. I can't remember exactly which songs, right? Day of. It's the wedding. It's the party. Things are going down, right? And I get this notice to meet up in the management room that was handling the concert, the 5 songs. Mm-hmm. They go, hey, here's his song list. He's changed them. I'm like, oh, man. I was like, I wrote the check. We're going to have these 5 songs. We're picking these 2. We're hopeful this is what we're going to do our first dance to, right? It's a full concert.
No way.
Homie rolls out 12 songs, wants to know which ones in order that we want to play. And they surprised me because this whole setting is a surprise for all of our guests. 200 people are in this ballroom.
You haven't told anyone that you got Steven Tyler
Only about 5 people knew.
That is so cool.
Nobody knew. So there's the whole on kabuki curtain thing, right? And we have a timeline. We got to have dinner. We got to have speeches done, and we're going to have our performance. And it's got to happen at this time. Curtain drops. Homie, Steven Tyler's playing on a white piano. And that was a surprise. Like, they wanted to charge me extra for the white
They
piano.
did?
Yeah, they gave it
How
to me.
much extra?
They gave it to me for free, but I wasn't
They
going to
gave
pay.
you
I wasn't going to pay for a damn white piano versus a black piano.
Fuck off.
Right? I had to draw the line somewhere.
Man.
And he's jamming, right, to Dream On, because that was our theme.
That's what he opened up to, Dream On?
Yeah, that was what our wish was. But he didn't like to do that song normally right away because he's got to get his vocal cords going. And people are like, man, this is a great tribute band. Looks kind of like...
That's what I was thinking. I was like, are the guests going to be like, wow, this is a really good-looking imposter, you know? Because we hired a fake
he does
Prince
look like a
before.
lady.
That was the second comment, was it looks like a great Steven Tyler imposter, right? And when he stood up and starts jamming, and nobody has those vocal cords to Dream On other than that dude. Everybody bum rush the stage, and it turns into this mosh pit of people at our wedding, and everybody's just partying for the next... It was literally almost 2 hours of Steven Tyler at our party.
Yeah, that's one of the coolest weddings ever.
Yeah. Ashley and I just pinch ourselves. And anytime any Aerosmith song comes on the radio now, it immediately draws us back to that moment with each other, and we'll just send a quickie text of "I love you"
to Steven Tyler.
No, just to Ashley and I to each other.
I was thinking
You know
the
what?
same
Next
thing.
time I
was
hear
like,
Aerosmith, I'm going to send you a text.
Yeah,
I love you,
You know
man.
what's funny? He
I
will.
love you.
I get great text messages from Kurt. Man, how
Depends
much,
on what time of day it was.
Yeah, right. How much has NASCAR changed since you got into it to where it's at now? Like, you know, because when you started racing, the stages and the rules have changed a lot, correct?
As far as like the pre-race and post-race, I mean, it's still the core group of fans that come out. Our smallest race.
No, but no, I'm talking about fans. I'm talking about like like you have stages now and the actual rules of the race.
Look at you, yeah, the race procedures, and how to
See,
win.
Look at me, I've done my research.
Yeah.
You're on it. Yeah, the stages break the races up, where there now is points available during the races.
Yep.
And then ultimately at the end is double points, basically.
Yep.
Stages create commercial breaks for advertising purposes.
Because we love advertising in NASCAR.
Gotta have that.
Major.
Gotta
Major.
have that. Pit crews are way more important now because there's more pit stops. So, you know, when I first started, you would pit and then you basically run another 100 laps and then come in when you ran out of gas. Now gas tanks are almost half the size.
Why's that?
Just because they want more pit stops and safety, not to carry that much fuel.
Get the cars lighter too, or
Cars are lighter, not carrying as much fuel, so it's safer. And then the tires wear out basically twice as fast now because they provide more grip, but they want us pitting more often.
It's crazy how hot and that sometimes when you look at those tires when they're done, they look fucking crazy.
Oh, they're above 250 degrees, you know, right when they take them off the car. Oh. Just melting rubber.
Are you scared, like when you're going 200 miles an hour?
Never
Nose
been
to
scared.
nose to tail,
I
like-
think when that happens, there was one time, I'll admit, but I'm not scared in the NASCAR car. I feel so protected with my roll cage, Hans device. I mean, I'm in the era of the safety movement of NASCAR. When Dale Earnhardt Sr. passed away in Daytona, everything changed as far as seats, seat belts, helmets, certifications, the safer barriers that
Were
we
you there
crash
for
into.
that?
I was. That was my rookie year.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was like Elvis has left the building. Like it was, the sport didn't know what to do. But you know, back to the racing and the stages and just the change and the evolution. It's all part of it, and I'm not afraid of what I do. I'm not fearful. I ran the Indy 500 6 years ago now, and I qualified at 230 miles an hour.
On that straightaway
To
there,
make-
like which on the where the grid is?
The oval
bricks?
track,
Yeah.
230
Oh my
average
God.
speed. And when race day came around for the Indy 500, and it was my first and only open wheel race that I've ever done, I stood there on the grid and I'm looking at 250,000 people, and 33 cars were starting that race, and I had never done that open wheel race before.
Yep.
I'm like, I had a moment. Like, what did I get myself into?
Whoa.
I felt it. I felt this weird, like, holy fuck.
Yeah, like
you don't know what you're doing.
catapulted into a whole new.
Yeah, you don't know what you're doing, bro. And I went, wait a minute. And it was just literally a conversation with myself.
Is that because you didn't have a roof over your head?
It was just that morning.
You're like, oh, the sunroof will close.
Well, and you got to stare at your wheels, right? Like you're saying, open wheels. So you're probably like looking at them a little bit more, being like, well, is that one getting hot? I
mean,
don't know.
those cars are safe, but they're not a NASCAR car. And then the speeds are greater. And it's something I've never done before. And I just had to have a quick conversation with myself of, boom, 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 you know.
What were you guys saying?
Me and myself?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've done this before. Straighten your shit out. Get on it. Do it. And I went out there and finished 6th in the race.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
The most scared you've ever been, you finished 6th. Kudos to you. And then you're like straight back to the NASCAR.
I actually got hazed. You know, all the veterans in IndyCar, like, dude, bro, it's really crazy. Lap 1, man. You're 3 wide going into turn 1. Watch out. You know, there's a huge vortex of speed and wind and aero. Watch out. So I kind of ease down in there, you know. Scott Dixon passes me. Juan Pablo Montoya passes me. And then I kind of ease off the throttle a little bit more, you know, just everybody goes blowing by. I'm like, damn, I could have held this wide open.
They got you like Happy Gilmore style. They were like, yeah, ninth green and 9. And then all of a sudden, like, you're like,
that's what happened. And I was like 20th after the first lap.
That's wild. I've actually been fortunate enough to be, I went with Alexander Rossi 3 years, maybe 3 years ago, and to like walk out. You walk out of the pits. You walk down that channel where everybody's staring at you. You walk out into the thing like that again. That in Daytona 500, I've never seen anything like that. Those people, the helicopters above, like just the ambience of what's going on around you in that time is super mind blowing.
That's what makes motorsports so powerful. Are those moments like that, and it takes the people to make it happen. And so, you know, post COVID, we're getting fans back to the tracks and keeping things to a protocol where everybody's still safe, but it's awesome starting to get back to some normalcy.
You guys did a race this year on dirt at Bristol.
Yeah.
How was that?
That was pretty wild.
Has that happened before?
Not since like the 70s.
So why? And did it rain that day that it was dirt?
Oh, right. Yeah. Of course it's going to rain, and now it turns into soup. When mud gets too wet, like you just can't race on it.
Listen, okay, so I can tell you a Bristol story. The one and only time I'll ever go to Bristol is it's in the tri-state, so you got to. I'm not a fan of like you got to. It's tough getting in there, right? And then you get in there, and then the time I was there, we were on a bus on the infield. Oh no, you're not on the infield. You're outside because no one's in the infield. You're out like there's camping grounds around. But our bus, this crazy rainstorm came. The race got postponed. The race never happened. We had a concert that got canceled. We spent the whole time in like a Waffle House or something weird. And then we actually got caught on like a moat. So like the rain so much that we got flooded.
Yeah,
so
that campground got flooded out.
We couldn't even get out. We couldn't actually get out, so we were stuck. And then we got stuck in a hotel for like 2 days, and I just had a really bad experience at Bristol. So I don't know if I'll make it back there, but that dirt race was cool.
It was different, yes. And the way the race all played out turned out good. We had all those delays, which sucks, right? You know, the fans that come and camp or the fans that would show up just race day, you know, people were disappointed, but we got a race on the dirt, you know, when it's a little drier. And when we got going, they didn't wet it at all after all this rain, because you would have thought that would have handled the right mixture. Dude, our cars tore through that top layer of mud and dirt. We got down to like some of the sand because our cars are just so big and so heavy. And it just started to like create this cloud on restarts. And I literally had vertigo one time of there was so much dust, I couldn't see the car next to me. I couldn't see the car in front of me. I lost the grandstands, couldn't see him.
So your spotter's driving for you at this point?
Literally just like I lifted off the gas and pitched it sideways going through this cloud because I knew the guy in front of me was going to do it and I knew the guy behind me was going to do it. It was nuts. And after that restart, I was just like, I got to get to the bottom, because at least on the bottom you were out of people's rooster tail. It's crazy. And we had that later with a rain race at Circuit of the Americas.
That was just like, so what happened? Like you like thread the needle between these two cars.
Yeah.
And then you end up on the grass all the way back. How did you not get stuck?
Oh, yeah.
It was so great. The commentary. Did you see the commentary? He's like,
Yeah.
you started doing donuts. You start coming back, and the guy's like, the commentator's like, this is like a Monster Energy commercial.
COTA was special, right? Because they wanted to race us NASCAR on that track like F1 does and MotoGP. They race in the rain. Dude, this was like a tropical disturbance. Literally, like the yellow stuff and the orange stuff on a radar. We're racing in that.
Yeah.
It was just too much rain.
Circuit America
And
gets
so-
the craziest storms, by the way.
Yeah.
It's like, and a friend of mine saw that, and she's like, what's wrong? And I was like, those cars aren't meant to be out there right now.
Yeah, we're just creating this huge rooster tail. And then when I had my little awesome event, that back straightaway area, I grab second gear and I'm spinning the tires. Rah, rah, rah. I'm like hydroplaning. I grab third gear, rah, 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 sliding to the other side of the track. I grab fourth gear, rah, 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 like sliding to the other side. I'm like, dude, just don't hit the rev chip. I'm telling myself, just keep it off the rev chip and then get back into the braking marker. They're gonna have to call this race pretty soon because we're now hydroplaning. So I lost track of my braking zone because I had been hydroplaning through all that area, and I'm like, I probably should just slow down. I think the corner's coming up here soon. And when I said that to myself, there was a red light from the braking of the car in front of me. I went, ugh! So I carved left. I missed him. And then I see my brother after I jumped out of the mist and the rooster tail. And now I see my brother's car clear as day. I'm like, don't hit him, right? And so I was just kind of sliding through there. And I'm like, he'll be gone by the time I get there. And I don't know how I made it. I snaked,
It was crazy.
I snaked
because
through
it's
there.
almost like you pivoted and then like you threaded the needle.
I
dude.
missed both those cars, and then here comes the gravel trap. And gravel trap, if you have the right amount of speed, you just get off the brakes and try to get through it. So literally got off the brakes, grabbed a gear, gassed it up to get through the gravel, and I knew there was grass on the other side, which I hope isn't too muddy. That's where I spun around and got back out on track.
Yeah.
So I pulled it off. I didn't run into anybody, got through the gravel, got back out there, and then what happens? NASCAR called the race the next lap.
Right.
Too unsafe of conditions.
Yeah.
Gee, thanks.
And then you're like, damn it, I should have hit my brother.
Yeah, she just wrecked him.
So I love watching it when you guys when you guys come up on each other, is there like, does that rivalry, like you look in your mirror and you're like, all right, it's behind me, or you're coming up on him, is it like, explain, like, what's that feeling like?
With my little brother and us racing, it was intense when it first started out. Because when I got a pro contract, he's still just 14 years old. We didn't race against each other much when we were kids. We were too far apart in age. And so I'm a Cup champion in 2004, and he's a rookie. Again, right? Champion, it's going to take you a little while. Your little brother, you're just kind of and he started working his way up. About his fifth, sixth year in, he's one of the players, and we wrecked each other going for $1 million at the All-Star race back in 2007. We're still trying to figure out who's still at fault.
Oh, you guys haven't figured it out?
I mean,
what do you say?
It's his fault.
What does he say?
It's my fault.
Yeah, well,
Grandma said she don't care. You boys better figure this out.
Yeah, well, so Grandma doesn't care, but you guys are gonna figure it out.
She just wants peacefulness around the holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys had some bad holidays because of this?
Just that one. I would say maybe 3 years. It brewed for a while. It brewed for a while.
You guys didn't talk for 3 Thanksgiving. It's
Pretty
very
much.
silent.
It's like, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? Okay, we good? Yeah, no, it was a good little battle with just making sure I finished in front of him for a long while. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
If I was going to run 15th one day, I wanted to make sure he finished 16th.
Yeah.
But we settled in. We raced with each other on the same team when Monster Energy picked us up.
Yep.
That helped a ton. And then his first championship year in 2015, there's things that go on track where you got to have your enemies, you got to have your teammates, and I knew what it took to win a championship, and I was there for a couple little moments to help him secure his championship.
Yeah.
It happens. People see it. Brothers see it. It works when it works, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's when we just went to the next level of we're both champions. We've both done it all. Now let's work with each other.
I feel like now you guys are tighter than
Yeah,
ever.
we're like secret weapons to help each other on the track.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like that. You said something there about teammates, and this is the craziest thing I've always thought with racing, is that you have a teammate but you're not trying to be second to your teammate. You're trying to beat your teammate.
That's right.
So it's like your teammates, we're the same logos or the same owner, but I want to beat you.
Yep. Yeah, the owner of the team, you can have up to 4 cars. So he wants 4 chances to win every Sunday. But as the driver for my team, I want my team just to win. My car number, my sponsor. And that's where you race with the intensity, with the charisma and the confidence to know you're better than your other teammates. And it's up to them to try to beat you. So I've always prided myself in being that top dog at the race team.
Have you ever got stuck in some sticky situations where there's been like a phone call or a radio or like?
Yeah, there's been those awkward, why'd you block me, or why didn't you let me by, or what's up? You have that.
Yeah.
I raced for Tony Stewart for a few years, and he's the part owner of the team and a current racer.
Right.
So he came into one meeting. I blew through like 5 wide at a Pocono restart, and I put him in a compromising spot, and he ended up with a bad finish. And he came in the meeting and smacks me upside the back of the head. What are you doing, bro? What was that for? And that was like a racer talking to a racer.
Yep.
It wasn't the owner in that moment.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, you got me. Can't talk my way out of this one with the team owner because he was in the race.
There's some interesting team owners these days. There's Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Has come full force.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to put that, no pun there, force.
Yeah.
Jordan Force, right?
Yeah,
Air
he's got
Force.
team.
And then Pitbull is a part team owner.
Yeah. Yeah, he jumped in with the group.
He performed at my 21st birthday.
It did?
Yeah.
You went to him?
No, he came to us. Sapphire
What?
Strip Club. He opened for Rick Ross.
No way.
Yeah.
That's
I was
cool.
there. It was pretty cool.
My grandma was there.
Gotta
in
love
Las
grandmas.
Vegas.
Gotta love grandmas. That's great.
She was in the
That's a
strip
cool
club.
story.
Yeah, it is a cool story. But it's like
Yeah.
it's cool to see there's some big names that are like still involved in NASCAR, still pursuing the thing. It's cool to see. It's
Yeah, there's the good old boy owners that have been there for a long time. There's a great opportunity in our sport as of late to start up a new team heading towards the next gen car. There's going to be this new car that completely wipes out basically all the old information.
What does that mean?
All the old setups, all the different ways of the way that we've won races is going to completely change with this new car. This new car is basically like an Australian V8 supercar.
oh, cool.
With independent rear suspension, sequential gearbox, different aero. It's a whole new car.
How much is that going to change how the races end up?
It's going to be big, man. It's going to be like the Wild Wild West.
So that's the future.
That's what's happening, and that's why new team owners are coming in. That's why this opportunity of an equal platform is starting to present itself.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the future is wild, wild west.
Yeah, it's appealing to more of a technology side.
Yep.
And getting different manufacturers involved instead of just the same ones that have been there, and just crossing over to different style race fans.
Did
too.
you guys have a couple races where you had to make a slight right turn this year?
Yeah, the road courses. Yeah,
How's that? How do you do going right?
I'm not bad. I've got some road course wins. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how I would do on the right side of the car if we went to Australia to go hang out together.
Yeah, no.
Which side of the road
I'd
are you
smoke
on?
you on that. So what you want to do is,
Are you on the left side of the road?
Yeah. What you want to do is if you're driving anywhere, if you're in Australia, if you're in America, because what happens is I at home.
Driving advice brought to you by Dingo.
Yes, not good.
Let's go.
So
Pay
like
attention.
when I'm at
You're gonna
home,
need this.
on the farm, right, and I leave the farm, because you're kind of in the middle of nowhere. At times I'll pull out at nighttime and I'll be driving along, no one's on the road, and I'm like, you see a light, and that light's coming towards you, and then if you look to the left and you see the dirt, that means you're on the wrong side of the road. You always want to look, whatever side you look to, you want the road, the line to be in the middle of the road. You don't want to be looking into the ditch. If you're looking into the ditch, it means the car's coming head on. So you'd be like, oh, fuck. You'd be driving 5 minutes, 10 minutes, like on the wrong side of the road. You see a light, like a headlight coming, you're like, oh, shit, I'm on the wrong side of the road. So the rule of thumb is no matter what side you look, you want to always be in the center of the road. No, if you look over and you're driving, you're in the ditch, you're clearly on the wrong side of the road.
I'm going to need a piece of duct tape. And
Yeah.
we'll put it on the dash, and it'll have the words by Dingo on there.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Because we
That's
might
cool.
forget.
Don't you want to do like a drive around Australia?
For sure.
One day?
No, that's top 5 bucket list
Yeah.
item. Get a motorhome.
Yep.
And go there for a month.
Yep.
Yep.
That's
Would love to. I'll hit you up.
I got you. Mom will
Stop by
cook
the
for
farm.
you. You'll be stuck with Mom for a while. It's all right. She's good cook.
Would love to.
How was this offshore invitational boat race you did?
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Dude, it was epic. It was Travis Pastrana lined up a group of his buddies.
A group of lunatics.
Yeah, just all of us, right?
Everyone.
And, yeah.
Chad Reed's in there. Villapoto's in there. Bilko's in there. Deegan's in there. You're in there. Travis Pastrana. All the craziest people I know.
Yep, some military guys. Jimmy Johnson was going to do it. He had to bail. He was doing the 24 hours of Daytona. But his old racing buddy, Rick Johnson, I thought he was going to be the ringer because he had the most boating experience and knew what to do with these things. Basically, we all just roll in there, and it turns into a normal mosh pit of just monster guys hanging out, having fun, and doing something on edge that none of us have ever done before. And that's to go drive an offshore power boat at 100 miles an hour. And they said there's going to be a trophy. When you say there's going to be a trophy, we are all like, we'll run over our mom to go get this trophy. It was on. It was so much fun to do the capsule where they flip you upside down.
What, you get to, they teach you?
You
if
have
you're
to go
gonna
through a
get flipped upside
certification.
down?
Yeah, you got to go through a certification.
cool.
Of getting flipped over, having the oxygen tank and the mask, and being able to swim yourself out of the boat. Just the whole atmosphere of the fun challenge of it.
That's not scary to you? Like, I'm about to get in a boat that if I flip this thing, I need to put my gas tank and goggles on and snorkel out of this thing.
I was like, okay, I'll figure this out. But then you just jump into racer mode and go, you know what? This throttle guy has done
Yeah, you're
this.
like, there's my mom. I'm
his
going to
old-
run her over to win this trophy.
You can't show fear. You just got to go for it. And then you start thinking through it, and that's where the fraternity of like Villapoto talking about his moto days and learning something new, talking with Deegan and learning about him, Bilko. We all just started talking and coaching each other on how to get better and to beat the other competition. And ultimately, us four made the Final Four.
Yeah.
That's what was
Yeah.
epic about it. And so there wasn't enough boats to race at the end. So this boat broke a power steering. This boat wouldn't refire. This one's out of gas. This one broke its steering. Ran out of boats at the end, and I lost to Deegan trying to make it to the finals on Rochambeau.
No.
I lost on
What did you
rock
go with?
I went with scissors.
Never go with scissors, dude.
I beat Villapoto by scissors.
Yeah, he would have gone rock, eh?
Yeah, I can't remember.
No, he went paper.
I got beat. It was bad.
Man,
I was the fastest dude there all week.
it looked like fun, though.
It was a blast. It was so much fun. Just the atmosphere of racing with so much talent and other dudes that have accomplished so much, other girls. It was just that much fun.
Yeah. We did a really cool video. You came up with it, but shifting gears. Where did the idea of that come about? Because that was one of the funnest trips I've. Maybe because I wasn't on a trip for a year, but being with the crew in Key West for a week or whatever it was down there, that was. Thanks for making that happen.
That was an awesome process to put together. Just the whole film crew had been bottled up for how long, right? And to live a dream of mine, to drive a NASCAR car out on an open road and just go as fast as we possibly could go, right? And it stemmed from my years with Ash Hodges.
Yeah, Dirt Shark.
Yeah, Dirt Shark. With him and his ability to see certain productions and see certain videos and to be able to make them happen. Ash was the man behind the scenes that pulled it all together, and I got with my race team to get a full-blown NASCAR car with the 750 horsepower and wanted to just get going 200 miles an hour across the bridges down to Key West.
And then we brought in the unknown guys.
Yes.
Brought in the Freestone Moto guys, Axel, Taka. Like, it was
Yep, and to
You
have
know?
the helicopter come in. And
the helicopter.
The crazy-
I just love watching you. Like, I remember you flipped around, and I think it was with the unknown guys, and you were basically, like, coming up over a bridge. You were like, I hit 200 or something. At that point, I could only see the skyline. I couldn't really see where I was going. At that point, I was just in God's hands.
The craziest moment was the helicopter came from the other side of the bridge. There was this crest at the top, and it's on the other side. The chopper's coming at me at 100. I'm doing 200. And then we tried to time it to be at the top of the bridge at the same time. And I see the black blob of the chopper I see the skid of the chopper where it lands is like pointed at my temple, and I'm just like, "Ugh!" And like you can
duck
see
a little bit?
like I did. You could see the car move to the side because I was just like, man, if the skid hits the roll cage, that's cool, but it ain't gonna hit me. It was one of those moments where it was just like, whoa, this was next level danger. It was awesomeness. I got to see the whole gang, and it was a video to produce and to piece together for social and to do a lead through of my career. It was to show everybody how thankful that I've been and how appreciative I am of the things I got to do in NASCAR. And I left it open-ended at the end of this could be my final year of racing. I called it shifting gears because this could have been my last year. It might still be. I don't have a contract. And it was something to say thank you to everybody that had been part of my career, to highlight and showcase certain moments, and just to show the badass value of being part of the Monster Energy fraternity.
Yeah. And
we had a great party at the end with everybody, and it was just neat to see everybody's faces back together again, with everybody being on lockdown with COVID.
We got to do the burnout.
Dude, we did that impromptu, right?
That was the sickest thing ever on Bourbon Street, dude. We're going to pop that up on the social feed. But
Duval Street.
Duval Street,
Duval
sorry.
is Key
Duval
West,
Street.
yeah.
That was, where's Bourbon Street?
New Orleans.
Okay, cool.
It's a good party there.
They
too.
look the same.
Yeah. No, that was last second. The sun was starting to set.
We got in trouble for that.
On our final day of filming. Yes,
I went back. I was back there a couple weeks ago, and the burnout's still there.
Yeah. Yeah.
The city's still a little bit upset with us, but it's all right. We got it under control.
The burnout was so good, the tires tore into the asphalt, and the mayor got all pissed off afterwards that we ruined her street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said we made her street cooler.
Yeah. Somebody said that was a top 5 moment in Key West history.
I think it was, dude. We're a part of it.
At least we had a shot at the top 5.
Yeah. Monster Energy, YouTube, Shifting Gears, Kurt Busch. Go look at it if you haven't already seen it, but that was a good time.
Good time for sure.
Man, well, you're like one of the best ambassadors I think this company's ever had. We love you. You've done amazing things for us. Daytona 500 champion first year. It doesn't get any bigger than that. And we like to do this little thing at the end where Danny does this little lightning round.
Yeah.
We don't prep you on it. You just got to be quick.
Just got to roll with it.
You just got to roll with the punches.
For sure.
He scours the internet for days doing this thing.
It's insane the amount of research I do.
Right on. Let's do it. I was just going to say, we got to meet when we were at X Games years ago.
I know, right?
And everything just rolls from there.
Yep.
On the cool factor of what we get to do.
Yeah.
But also the representation of the brand. And how we encourage all others that we come in contact
100%.
with on give your best every day for the Monster Energy brand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like the people, especially on the motorsports side of, Carrie Cellini, all the work she's done, obviously Mitch and Dave, and like just that whole side's like, it's like some of the best times I had like with you and that crew.
We get the easy part, man, right?
I know.
We're the ones out front, but it takes that army behind us.
Yeah, it's true.
What do you got?
Well said. So we got your lightning round questions here. The people want to know your greatest NASCAR driver of all time.
My favorite?
Who is your favorite?
Who I think the greatest? David Pearson. He's got the second most amount of wins, but he only showed up half the time to try to kick Richard Petty's ass.
That's right, badass. How many car crashes have you been in?
I can't count that high.
Okay. Is it true that you go to the bathroom in your race suit?
It is not true. No, I sweat it out.
I go to the bathroom in my race suit.
Because you're Australian, or can't hold it?
It's all of the above. The first time I did the Baja 1000, and it was like, I was like, I gotta go, and I gotta count it in, and it's like so bumpy, and it was just like, it was like hurting, and then that release was so good.
What's the best feeling about racing?
Winning, getting that checkered flag. That's what you're there to do.
What's the most overused expression in NASCAR?
Most overused expression. What do you think, Dingo?
If you're not first, you're last.
That's right. See, I knew it was a movie.
Do you ever drop the shake and bake line?
No,
shake it and bake it.
I haven't dropped the shake and bake line.
And what is the craziest NASCAR fan you've ever seen?
Craziest NASCAR fan? There was this one dude that would always wear his overalls with no underwear, and he had a hard hat on, and it was whoever gave him his like last die cast, he would put the decal on this hard hat. So a hard hat with overalls and no underwear.
What city is this guy in, or does he just go everywhere?
I think he hangs out with Dingo when Dingo shows up.
For sure.
Sick.
Yeah.
What is your most treasured possession?
My wife, Ashley.
Boom. You won right there.
Yeah, that's the first thing that popped
10-point
into my
question.
head, but I had to review real quick with my other self, and the other
We'll
self said,
cut the pause out of that one, right?
Yeah,
In
sure.
post.
Ashley. Yes.
Sweet.
Start over. You can start the question over. No, I'm just
Okay.
kidding.
No, those are all the questions. You've succeeded fast there, unless you want to.
You said rapid fire, and I'm a race car driver, so
Okay.
we had to bring it.
That's it.
What's the fastest speeding ticket you've ever got?
Technically, I've never been given a ticket for over 100, but I got a ticket at 99. That wasn't very good. That was where you got to get the lawyer thing and show up at court and do that, like, I won't do that again type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But on a public road, maybe like at 4 a.m. on a deserted highway somewhere, I got up to 203.
Dang.
Yeah. But, you know, that was closed course, professional driver,
sure. Oh, yeah.
and conditions were ideal. Yeah, something like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
There we have it. We appreciate you, dude.
No, thank you guys. This was a blast, and it's just always fun. Good to see you.
Good to see
it's
you,
always
too.
good to get everybody together, right?
Yep.
Unleashed with the Dingo and Danny. Fueled by Monster Energy.